republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I move we approve that agenda, but not necessarily in that order.
Second.
Is anyone willing to pull anything from the consent? Oh, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries 5-0. Do you want to pull anything from the consent agenda?
Yes, I'd like to pull the minutes.
Okay. Anything else?
The minutes for the February 25th.
Okay.
Particular, can I stress
Well,
that?
no, let's do the consent agenda items first. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries 5-0. Any minutes? What's your concern?
On the minutes for the public hearing, there was a letter in support that was read by our chairman that was not entered into this, as well as 102 town resident signatures protesting that were presented and entered as well. So I would like those.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All those in favor of the minutes as corrected, indicate by, first, second, motion.
Yeah, this is the actual hearing we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Dan, seconded by Susan. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries 5-0. Committee reports. I don't have anything. Do you have anything, Ken?
No.
Okay. Chairman's report. The only thing I was going to mention is that the weight limits will go on by the end of the week. Probably will be more than like till the end of April, first part of May. That's it for that. Public comment. Would anybody like to speak on something that isn't on the agenda? Jamie?
I'm Jamie Johnson, 37 Garrity Lane, our Hudson resident, also on the school board, and I'm here because we don't have the IGAC meeting anymore. It was the Intergovernmental Advisory Group that consisted of the town of Hudson, town of Troy, town of St. Joe, village of North Hudson, the city of Hudson, and then the county would send a representative. And the purpose of that was to kind of talk about what's going on in each of the entities. Sometimes they have mutual issues. But it was a very good way of getting information out about what's going on in the school district. So we haven't had those meetings in, what, about a year, Tim? Is that right? Okay. So I'm here to remind folks that we did put on for the April ballot a referendum that would give the ability to raise the ceiling on the revenue side up to $5 million, and we're limited to 6 years. So just to recap, in April of 23, we had a referendum, two referendums actually, an operating and a construction. The construction one passed, and so now we're improving buildings that are 30, 60 years old, capital improvements that are needed. The operating did not pass, and we did a survey, and we heard what people were saying about selling some of their assets. Property on New U is up for sale. The administrative building is going to be up for sale. We're moving that. So we're trying to consolidate our footprint, and people didn't like the fact that it seemed like a lot of money. And so we've rerun the numbers. We still are looking at deficits 4 years out that are going to be $7.9 million. But we decided to keep the ask at $5 million because we want to do a combination. We don't think any deficit should be fixed by only tax increases. And so we're going to combine cuts in spending with any necessary tax increase. And again, reminding this is a revenue ceiling. It's not like we need all $5 million the first year. We're projected to have about $2.9 million. We have already proposed for the next 25-26 budget $1.7 million in cuts. We'll see what happens on April 1st as to whether or not the board, I'm not going to be on the board then, because I'm leaving the board after 12 years in basically about 45 days. So there will be potentially further cuts, and we're hoping to be able to have flexibility of a ceiling increase that would go out up to 6 years. And then after 6 years, we would reassess. Now, I don't have enough time to explain why we're in this mess, but hopefully people that are paying attention have heard that the state hasn't kept up with inflation on the state aid part. And so where the state aid has been cut, we've tried to fill in with property tax. And we've been doing proactive things like paying down debt, making sure that we have a good cushion. We do have a good reserve fund, but we will go into those. If you're looking at how enrollments are going down, state aid may not stay where it's at. There's a lawsuit about the governor's last veto, so forth. So again, this is about prudent financial planning, trying to keep our taxes even and not have peaks and valleys, and trying to avoid cuts that are going to harm the delivery of education to our students. Because if we start getting a reputation for having a school district that doesn't pay its teachers or doesn't educate its students, then people are already going to be lean, and it'll be just a death spiral. So we're trying to maintain quality education, keep our quality teachers, and again, keep a lid on tax increases and try to feather that in with the spending cuts wherever we can. So that's April 1st, and again, this impact is similar to the one that was from November, which was $500. It's $4 for every 100,000. So if you have a $500,000 house, your taxes would go up for the school $20 in 1 year if you have a $500,000 house. And so that's what it would go up. If we use all $5 million, it's possible our mill rate could still go down if we don't need all of that $5 million. So that's what we're hoping for. If there's any questions, that's fine, but I just need to get that information because we don't have that data like we had before. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else that has anything they'd like to bring up that isn't on the agenda? Okay, move on to the next item. Tolkren's, CSM for the lot line adjustment. Is there anybody here from Tolkren's? Okay,
All right.
good. I will mention.
You want me? How you doing?
Good. So, I think everything's clear on the lot line adjustment.
I think we got everything that you asked
The
for.
only thing I will tell you is there was some fees that are still owed, so when you come in to get your check signed, you'll owe for that.
Excuse me, I didn't hear you.
You'll need to pay some additional fees that are owed on the account.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, when you come in to get that, because you're gonna
I
send
think
it
it's
out.
send them an email or
I already invoiced you guys. I
Okay.
think you might have been out of town.
as soon as I get them, I'll.
Yeah, they went out on the 18th of February.
Okay.
Okay,
If I got it, I'll bring it in tomorrow.
Otherwise, I have a copy and we'll just,
Okay.
yeah.
is anyone willing to make a motion on the lot line adjustment?
So
Ken, so
I'll second.
second by Dan. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign, motion carries by.
Thank you.
Don't go anywhere.
Oh,
Tolkren's with the CSM for the 4 lots on Gilbert Road. That, the only thing you will owe $480 for the 3 fire numbers that are going to.
that's fine.
Okay? Does anybody have any questions about that? Because that's pretty straightforward too. The reason I had to go back was the attorney analysis of the shared driveway, and that's been approved.
Well, it was a shared driveway agreement, and the deeds had to go in one name.
When the deeds had to go all in one name. Okay? Is anybody willing to make a motion to approve the 4 lot minor?
So moved.
So moved by Dan, is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Susan. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
With fees of $480.
With the fees of $480. Okay,
I'll run down tomorrow and I'll pay all the fees.
thank you.
You got it.
Thank you.
Is that it for all?
Yep,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Discussion action on the Pearson amended CSM off of County Road Oh, excuse me.
8.
Discussion on Lang equipment site plans at 627 Commerce Drive. Is there somebody here from Lang? You want to come up?
I'm representing the builder contractor.
Okay.
The owner is out of town.
I am a co-owner, so.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Brad, I'm Calum, so.
The only question that I had was, are you going to do anything about the driveway? The engineer said that it's okay with it that steep.
Yeah, we, on our opinion, I mean, it's, the grade, we gotta have the right culvert size in there, so that's the biggest thing. So we may have to drag it out a little further distance to make it a more appropriate angle, but,
Okay.
I mean, at this point, we're just looking to, I mean, that's something where, you know, the engineer was okay with it, but
I saw that.
if it's something where we need to, you know, stretch it out a little bit further in order to make it more appropriate approach, then that's something we're willing to do whatever's necessary to make sure that's fair. We want to make sure it's easy access in and out for anyone that's coming and going, so.
The stormwater cost, I need a letter of credit for 110% of that cost. Do you have any idea what that cost is going to be?
I don't, not offhand. We can certainly get you want the letter 110% of the stormwater.
Whatever that, moving the soil to get that. The reason for that is if it ever didn't get done, then we'd need to finish it. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Take a bond.
That's exactly. It would be a bond, but
Sure.
either way, all right? Does anybody got any questions or go to make a motion on approval of the land equipment?
There's a question about the double 12-inch culvert at the end. Is that last plan, does that include that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the 18 inches higher, and we couldn't get enough cover over it without making a
No
steep.
problem, I just wanted to make sure that.
Yeah. That is the most current plan.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Is anybody willing to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Dan, second. Any further discussion?
Letter of credit?
On the letter of credit.
Once we receive the letter of credit or bond. Okay?
Is there a time frame you're looking to have that by? Do you need it in the next 10
You
to
won't
14?
get approval.
I'm just looking to make sure that we're on the same page as far as the speed of which you would like.
I would say as soon as possible.
Okay, how about that? All right. Either later this week or first part of next week?
Well, tomorrow we're here, otherwise we're normally closed Thursday, Friday, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week would be fine too.
Okay, we'll plan on that then.
Sounds good.
That gives me a day to take care of it.
Okay.
Any further questions or questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries 5-0. Discussion action on Pearson amended CSM on County Road N. There's somebody here for Pearson. I suppose he doesn't have to be here. Just so everybody knows, it got approved, got all the way through the county approved it, and then the county changed, they had a change, so they made everything go back through and to meet their new requirements through the county zoning. So it's just a second approval process, that's why. Okay, does anybody want to make a motion to approve that? So it's Susan, so moved, Dan seconded. Thank you. Any further discussion, questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign, motion carries. Motion to reconsider the motion to approve the rules for government as commission and committee. Questions?
Yes. A lot of my questions were answered.
Need a motion.
No.
You need a motion.
Need a motion to discuss it. What's your motion?
My motion to discuss the rules for government,
No, to reconsider.
To reconsider?
to reconsider the motion for the rules for government of the town, for the rules for government for the town board commissions and committees.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made, second. Any further discussion?
And Rachel seconded, she
Yes.
wasn't here.
I wasn't here.
She wasn't
No,
here.
you should.
Yeah, if anyone-
Right. Motion by Susan, seconded by Dan.
Now you just vote.
Everybody in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign, motion carries.
Wait, not everybody voted.
You guys didn't
What
vote?
was the motion on?
To reconsider the vote.
Reconsider it.
I can't vote right because I wasn't here.
You can vote now, you just can't
Okay,
make the
that's-
motions.
Yay, yes for me.
Okay,
Yes.
yes, you can vote too. Okay, now we can discuss it. What's your answer?
A lot of my questions were answered already at the meeting for the planning commission. And the attorney
Was there?
Yeah, Paul was there and he did answer a lot of my questions. Now I'd like to open this up. Can, even though Rachel wasn't here, if she has questions, I would like to give her the opportunity to ask those questions that she wasn't able to ask.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
All right, I don't know how these microphones work and I'm losing
you
my
push
voice.
it until
So-
it turns green.
All right, so rule one, meetings regular and special. Regular town board meetings are scheduled for the first Tuesday of each month, 6 p.m. Regular meeting dates can be changed if a need arises. Examples included. I think that we should add to that, all meetings should be available via Zoom. So if we're sick or if something happens, like what happened to me in February, I would still be able to attend that meeting via Zoom, as would other residents. It should be
The
something.
board wanted to do that?
How is that not covered under Rule 30?
So she just wants it to be Zoomed in all the meetings.
So,
So you could call in and participate, at least hear what's going on. Can she?
you can participate during meetings via Zoom.
Yes.
I think that's a reasonable.
The other thing I have, during public comment period, I know it's common for people to say, like Mr. Chairman, but it says any person wishing to speak must address the chair. I don't agree with that because it applies to the whole board. We're a voting member, we're a body, we're a team. They're not just talking to the chair, they're talking to everybody else. I would also like to add to that, only members of the town of Hudson should be able to speak at public comment unless there are unusual circumstances. Like the head of the Hudson Boosters is leading us or, you know, opening with the ideas that he has. This is a town of Hudson board meeting. It is for the town of Hudson residents, not for the city of Hudson, not for St. Joe's, not for anybody else. It's for the town of Hudson. So I think that verbiage should be added.
With the public, with the board meetings?
With the board meetings. Hearings may be a little different
Okay.
because of their nature, but board meetings, only town of Hudson residents should be able to address the board.
Okay.
Rachel, as far as addressing the chairman, how would you feel about when they address us, say, I'm addressing chairman and board members?
Most people will just get up there and say, chairman and board members, members of the town board. You know, I mean, they're addressing us all, we all vote.
The chairman runs the meetings.
He does, absolutely. And they can say, Mr. Chairman, that's fine. But I
That's
don't
what
think
that,
we should
that's-
well, that's what that is saying, is just to give,
Okay.
not that they're,
And I never, other than running the meeting, and if somebody has any comments.
The other thing, a walking forum, and I know we had this conversation with Paul, our attorney, not too long back. This kind of makes it sound like I'm not able to call Tim and ask him a question, that I can only go to the clerk.
You're not supposed to, you're correct, you're supposed to call the clerk.
That's not what our attorney said. I should be able to call you as my chairman
But-
and ask you a question.
But it's called a negative quorum. You and I discuss an issue, and there's only 3 of us at the meeting, we could make that decision.
Well, if there's only 3%.
But that's why it's called a negative quorum, because that's what would happen if the 3 of you, if 2 of you make discussion on what you want to do with that motion, you could actually, in fact, be determining what the decision would be. And that's why the walking quorum is different. The walking quorum is when you talk to me, I talk to Susan, Susan talks to Dan, and Dan talks to Ken. And
Well,
at that point, all 5 of us, that's what a walking quorum is.
That's what
That means
I'm
that all
saying.
5 of you have been making a decision about that, which is a violation of the open meeting law.
That's what I'm saying, but you as my chairman, I should be able to go to you for guidance or talk.
I don't believe
Can we
that's true.
consult
I
the
can ask
attorney on
Frank
it,
and verify
because I know
that.
he said the exact opposite.
It depends on what the question is. If you're asking a question about something that's on the agenda, that's a different story, then yes, you should. You got a question about when the next meeting is, that should be, because it's just informational call.
Okay, the other thing, was town Facebook and other social media sites. No town Facebook and other social media sites shall be created without town board approval. Now, when I first started running, I opened a town board site, and I should have kept up on it, but it's just too much work. I cannot delete that account without deleting all of my Facebook accounts. I don't see the problem as long as we're not posting anything confidential, sensitive. I mean, if you want to post on their projected road projects for 2025 and 2026, what is the harm in that?
If you read the last planning commission meeting minutes, Paul, that's what Susan's talking about. Paul went over in detail with the planning commission because there'd been some social media postings that was going on out there. And Paul wanted to make it clear to the planning commission when they can and when they shouldn't be doing public postings out in social media.
But they shouldn't be banned altogether.
He said that what you could do is you're going to say there's a meeting, but you should not be talking about the issues on it. That's
So
what
just, if
Susan
you
said.
get a chance, there is out on Facebook, YouTube, that meeting. And it's really good to listen to our attorney and what he said, and that's exactly what our chairman is saying. We can say on that, there's going to be a public hearing. There's going to be a chicken, whatever. But we cannot, in any way, shape, or form, say our opinion either for, against, or anything like that. Because then we're shaping.
Exactly my point. I should be able to put stuff that we could find easily on the website, or maybe not on the website, but these are our projected road projects for
Yes.
25 and 26. Trout Brook Road, people that live there might want to know that that road's going to be closed.
Those are
off.
exactly what our attorney said. Those type of things we can.
Yes, and that's what I mean, but this
We'll
is
get a hold of the
prohibiting
attorney
us
and find out what
from
kind of
doing
verbiage
that.
she wants on there for that. Okay?
Listing of road projects has been giving your opinion.
Well, I
Once
know,
it's been approved, that's.
so all I have to do is come to you for, I haven't posted on it in years, but I'm not ready to delete all my Facebook accounts and all of my
Well, you don't have
contacts
to. That's not what
to have
he's
it on
saying.
there.
He's just saying you can't say that,
Privileged information,
well, not even privilege, just
Issues.
issues.
Should be discussing issues,
opinions,
opinions on it.
Right.
facts, just,
Just
Like
that there's a
road.
meeting,
right, okay.
because then you're gonna discuss it at the meeting.
Okay?
All right, so maybe we should change the wording of this.
I'll check with Paul, find out what he wants, and I'll maybe check with Paul and find out what he wants for I will check with Paul and find out what verbiage he wants on there, okay?
Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. You got more, Susan?
I don't know that it has to be discussed, but like Rule 13 says the board may direct the planning commission, the attorney, someone to work on our ordinance. It says we may, but that doesn't necessarily we are. That doesn't, there's no verbiage in here that I've seen that about the board working on those issues.
I think what that's referring to, and I don't remember, I read it before I came over. One of the things that, as Teresa says in the next one, we were supposed to vote on it again, and I think we should wait on that, but we'll get to that then. Because a lot of this stuff was codified, but never all in a single document, which was good, because when I read it through, I remembered all of these rules over the different times over the years. They just never were all in one location. And so over the years, the town board is the only one that should be contacting the attorney, is the chair or the clerk. The only one from the planning commission that should be contacting the engineer is the chair of the planning commission. And the reason they did that was so that we don't run up the bill on just other issues that aren't necessary, their own issues. And so it was just, if you got an issue on the planning commission, you get a hold of the chair, contact the engineer. Same thing with the board, you either get a hold of me or Vicki and have her contact the attorney to talk about it. Because otherwise the bill just starts ringing up. Okay?
But I understand that, but
I don't know if it says.
I was kind of saying as far as creating these ordinances and working on these ordinances, there's nowhere in here where it brings the board in as far as we, the board, are working on any of these ordinances.
You can work on anything, but you can have, we have for years, if there's certain things that get brought up, you can send it to the planning commission to have them work on it, then it's got to come back to the town board. And just like,
I think it's implied that the board has ultimate authority, it's just saying.
correct.
Correct.
You may tell them to work
They
on it.
delegate some of that, yes.
Matter of fact, most of those rules go to the planning commission with a recommendation to come back to the board. But they don't make the final decision. It's a recommendation from the planning commission to the board to make a decision. That's correct.
I just want to make sure that we're not out of the loop on
We're not.
writing these ordinances and working on these ordinances.
No.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Anything else on rediscussion? Then what I want to do is discussion and action on.
No, we got to do something here.
Town board
Are you going to
commission.
do this, or what are you going to do?
What I'd like to do is have Vicki go through her minutes on all those recommendations from both you and Rachel and review it with the attorney and then bring them back
Thank
in the
you.
meeting at the end of the month.
Thank you for letting Rachel be a part of this.
Yes, and then we'll recommend approval of it at the end of the month. Okay?
I need all your notes.
Okay, Rachel? Okay? Give her your notes. Thank you.
Notes.
Okay, thank you. Then, number 12, discussion and action on zoning amendment 10510G3Q. And what that is after our working session yesterday, we came to the conclusion that we got to make some changes to the zoning district. We're actually going to create a new zoning district, which is going to take some time with the board going through several working sessions to come up with that. So what we came to the conclusion, since this was on the agenda for tonight, sorry, I'll get to the point where I'll learn whether the mic can stay on and why it doesn't stay on. But we're recommending to approve the zoning, the 10510G3Q, just like it was, except take out no significant opposition for surrounding property owners, because the attorney said that's gotta go, it's non-defensible in a court of law. So he said that's gotta come out. So we decided we'd take that out and leave the rest of and leave the rest of it where it is for right now, and we'll come up with a different zoning ordinance, hopefully in the next month. Okay? Is there a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Dan, second by Susan. Any further discussion?
To approve resolution 2025-1.
Yes.
Okay. Susan, you're okay with that?
Yes.
Roll call.
Roll call vote.
Bill?
Yes.
Lang?
Yes.
Fosterly?
Yes.
Lang?
Yes.
Foster?
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you very much. That's it. Anything else that you want on the agenda for the end of the month?
Tim, can I just say one thing? I didn't notice this earlier. I didn't really get a chance. We moved kind of fast. But at the last special town board meeting, it said Thiel and Lang support the amendment and agreed to having a working session. I did not support this. I said I supported the project, but thought we needed to refine this and work on
Right.
this.
But that's what,
But that's
And
what
have working sessions.
that's what that
was.
says. That's the way I read it.
Well, I did not support the amendment as this was.
Correct. You supported the project. That's the way I read it. Okay?
But this says I support the amendment.
Just correct the minutes. Okay? Anything further that you want on the agenda for next, at the end of the month? I move we adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Tim, second by Ken. All in favor, signify by saying
I
aye. Thank you, we're adjourned. Thanks, everybody, for coming.
Turning on, yeah.